Kia ora. Hello. Our event is next week, so we are busy here at Popula Urbanum working on a new impression. This week will have to be a short video. Our topic this week is the Paternoster. The Paternoster is an essential for any and all high and late medieval impressions. If you want to round things off and go that next level, the Paternoster is one of those items. Depicted in context, not only worn by clergy, the Paternoster is an item that appears in art for both men and women of all classes during these periods. In this video we will briefly discuss the construction and context of the Paternoster. And I really do mean briefly, because I need to go and make those things for that pilgrim impression that I've been discussing. Now this really feels like filler. Is this filler? No. This is okay. This is okay. As usual, any sources are below. If you are interested in the subject, I really urge you to pop down into the description and have a look at those sources. But you should really watch the video first. Now let's discuss some of those construction techniques for the Paternoster. If we refer to the extant Paternoster found in textiles and garments, we can see that the cord is a tubular tablet woven silk braid. Often these are made by folks instead using a single strand of 4 or 8 ply wool. Now, using a single strand of wool does not stand up to the wear the use of the Paternoster exerts on the cord, and the wool will snap. I've read that for lower quality Paternosters, alternative fibres to silk were used, such as linen or wool. If this is the case, I would assume that this still would need to be tubular woven braid. The most common colours for the braid appear to be gold, red and green. This also goes for the tassels. Let's discuss the beads now. Many people refer to the origin of the word bead from Old English word gebed or bid, meaning to pray. I guess I did too. Usually, each of these beads were arranged into groups of 10 with a spacer bead of a different composition called a gourd. Each of these groups is called a decade. The purpose of the Paternoster was to count out prayers. The particular prayer being recited was the Our Father, or Paternoster. You were said to have 150 of these prayers. So you would see Paternosters with 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and the super long 15-decade Paternosters. The beads themselves come in so many varieties: bone, coral, jet, crystal, boxwood, glass, amber, red coral, diamonds, seeds, gold. The materials were selected for their mystical significance, ease of working, or beauty. The Paternoster itself was one of those items that was often highly decorated. Although the church tried to limit conspicuous consumption, the Paternoster, being a devotional item, was a way to circumvent religious authority and display your wealth. The gourds also were frequently highly decorated, being carved or made of silver or precious gems. We also see some Paternosters forming a loop with a terminus at the end, this being a cross reliquary or pomander, which would be filled with fragrant herbs. This loop style of Paternoster is what developed into the modern rosary beads. Let's have a look at some of the Paternosters we have made and ones that we have commercially bought. This one here, it has a tubular silk braid, you probably can't see it, and silk tassels. The beads are jet and it has bone gourds. It has 2 decades. This was made for my merchant impression. This one here has a silk tubular woven braid. It has wooden beads and wool tassels with larger wooden gourds. This was made for our craftsperson impression. This is a commercially purchased one. It came with a strand of mercerized cotton as the braid, and the tassels are made of the same mercerized cotton. The beads are black glass and the gourds are silver painted glass. The cord on this broke after about 2 seasons of use, and I at the time replaced it with wool. This was before I knew that I had to use tubular silk braid. I had this for my nightly impression, however I don't use it anymore since it's quite inaccurate. I would like to pull it apart and use the glass beads for a more accurate style. So here I'll demonstrate how you would use a Paternoster. because you will be saying Our Fathers or the Paternoster, every time you say a prayer or Our Father, and I'm not going to do that there because it involves speaking Latin and I will butcher it, and I'm sure someone will tell me how terrible my Latin is. Let's just assume every time I'm flicking one of these beads, I'm saying the prayer. The purpose of the Paternoster is to say the prayer. Okay, so it's not a device to say it instead of, it's to count it out. So every time I would have said one of these prayers, I count it out. Okay, so flicking that through, and once I get to there, that's 10 Our Fathers. The gourd obviously exists as a counting, yeah, that's 10 prayers. And then I go through here, usually quite adept at this, but when people are watching you, you get a little bit shy, you're not as good as something. And then we go, there you have it, that's 20 prayers, and then come back the other way, bring it back. So this is the Paternoster. Its purpose is to count through those prayers. The Paternoster is one of those items that operates in the framework of medieval Christian space. It signals that the wearer is a Christian, yet it operates within the framework of the cultural spectacle. It asserts the wearer is more religious or more godly. The purchase and open display of relics and other items of religious significance, such as psalters and books of hours, not only were devotional, it was a way to reduce your time in purgatory. There were ways of displaying your wealth. They were also functioned to assert to others that you were fundamentally more Christian, just like taking the pilgrimage was also a function not only of atonement, but one of the spectacle. I have not covered off as much as I would have liked to on this subject. As with all things that I cover, the topic is much more complex and nuanced. Trying to condense this into such a short video is very difficult. If you would like to have us cover this in a greater depth, please comment below. We're having a break next week from videos, as the event will be next weekend and we'd like a break. We will be back on the 16th. To see how it all went, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, where I'll post the pictures. Hello? Oh, you're still here. That must mean you're at the end of the video. So, I guess you'll probably want to like and subscribe. Also, remember to stay safe, have fun, and keep reenacting.